from Los Angeles Valley College. The Monarchs take on the visiting Oxnard Condors. Corey Neyland, Mark Pavlovich, Ed Ford, and Noah Alvarez in the outfield, ready for an exciting 3C FCA CCCAA college matchup.
Well, you look at the field here at LA Valley, the wind's blowing out. We talked to Coach Venger over there at LA Valley, who says, the ball flies out of here. I don't know. We might be in the wrong spot standing where we are here in right field, Corey. The only thing that Coach Venger doesn't have going for him is his heavy hitter on his team.
That's true.
So you look at these two teams. Thanks, Corey. I really appreciate that endorsement.
They really are going to be – they might be in a hole with Elizabeth Flores not playing. She's a leader in average with 500, batting 500, 589 on-base percentage, and a 717 slugging percentage. She's the big hitter. But a team coming in, 6th in the state in home runs, I think they had enough backup firepower to do some things.
Well, and you look at them up and down the lineup, everybody's sitting there. The only person that really looks like they've had a bad season so far hasn't played that much. Della Torre batting 273, that's your lowest starter out there. On the flip side for Oxnard, well, they're a team that can get out there. They lead in slugging percentage, 569. Boy, I tell you what, that's a lot of extra bases. The deficit they have, an ERA that's very high from the circle for this Oxnard softball team.
Yeah, Coach Venger says he's not going to be surprised if some of these games he has moving on in the season, it could be 17-10, 22-21 in the circle. For LA Valley to start it off is going to be Hannah Moulton. Right-hander delivers first ball. Pitch outside corner for a strike. That goes to Caitlin Acosta, the second baseman. Caitlin hitting .451 on the season. Oxnard comes in with a record of 8-5-1. This one's grounded to short. Rivera over to first base in time to Lindsay Lau.
And you got to realize when you look at this LA Valley field, it is an entire turf field. Ed Ford and I walked it the other day. Corey Neyland knows about this field too. He was out there earlier with Noah Alvarez. It's that field that is carpet from top to bottom.
Second batter, left-handed, is Charlie Holman, the first baseman for Oxnard, as Holman takes ball one outside for Moulton.
Holman, a freshman, Corey, batting .426 so far. She has an on-base percentage of .509.
She laces one into right field, up high in the air, snatches it, is Ashley Acosta for the second out of the game.
And Acosta almost misjudged that, but you saw where the wind coming out from home plate. It's blowing out towards us. Catches the ball, and the ball almost sails on Acosta over there in right field.
Destiny Murillo, 540 leads the team, 538 on base percentage, 960 slugging percentage. All those lead the team. She grounds one over again to Rivera, over to Lauren Lau. 1, 2, 3. That's the first inning for LA Valley, so no runs, no hits, no errors. For Oxnard, heading to the bottom of the first inning, 0-0 as LA Valley 11-5 coming into this game, Mark, looking to do some big things for new coach, well, young head coach Greg Venger.
New dad, Greg Venger.
Yes.
Just had a brand new baby boy. Looked a little bleary-eyed, sort of walked and staggered while he was out there. You know, the only thing better than having a new baby is buying a new car at Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Don't forget, all our games here on SportsNetUSA.net are brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Euclid in the 91. Need a new car, used car, or just letting that Toyota like Corey Neyland's got needs a little work? Well, no better place to take it than Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Corey, that lineup coming here to the bottom of the first.
So LA Valley, Caitlin Pineda, the center fielder, would bat first. Belinda Rivera at shortstop. Ashley Acosta, who made the second out at right field. Leslie Ariola at third base. Destiny Velasquez is catching for LA Valley. Batting sixth is Lauren Lau at first base. Erica Teach. I'm going to get it right one of these days.
I was going to
in
say.
left field. So Erica Zietz is in left field. Ashley De La Torre, or excuse me, Alyssa De La Torre, the designated player. Julie Sendejas batting ninth at second base. And Hannah Moulton, well, she's just in the circle, so she'll do the pitching duties. In the field for Oxnard, catching Destiny Murillo. At first base, Charlie Holman. Second base is Caitlin Acosta. Third base will be Yoali Perea. Shortstop, Giselle Rodan. In left field, Jessica Barrera. Center field, Michaela Barrera. And in right field, Gabby Gonzalez.
Look at this LA Valley team, has a batting average of .313. 11 home runs so far this season.
First pitch on the way outside to Pineda.
Charlie Holman for Oxnard sneaking in front of first base. Brill over at third, sneaks in a little.
Second pitch on the way inside in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Pineda. Caitlin does a nice job at the plate. She's at batting .452, 810. Actually, she has an .810 slugging percentage. 4 home runs, which leads the team. One ball, 1 strike. Bottom of the first here at LA Valley College. This one, she reaches down one, fouls it to the right side, fouled down third base line. So it's now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And Miranda Guerrero in the circle, the one thing you're going to watch about her, not necessarily a strikeout pitcher, she likes to play it up and down when she uses the zone itself.
And she uses that one perfectly as she strikes out Pineda going down, swinging the bat.
And you watch Guerrero there, Corey, on that one right there from the circle. It was an off-speed pitch. So if you're only throwing the ball the equivalent to 40 miles an hour, which may be 80, and that's as hard as you can throw, hey, slow it down to 35, and they'll swing right over the top.
She takes that one in there for a strike on Belinda Rivera. So nice start to the ball game for Miranda Guerrero. Guerrero on the season, 5 wins, 3 losses, 9 complete games and 62 innings pitched. This one is laced foul down the third base line.
Rivera is a number 2 hitter, batting .367, on-base percentage of .415. That's the arguable number between Corey Neyland and I. Which is more important? Batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage for a number 2, .408.
All these numbers we're giving you, these teams like to hit and can hit. Off-speed pitch, that one into the left center gap, goes to the wall, 190 feet away. Rivera slides in for a double. So Belinda Rivera is a double. And coming up is Ashley Acosta with the best walk-up music that I've heard in years. Bo knows that. What?
Corey, that was Rivera's 3rd double of the season so far as Corey Neyland takes a header over the right field fence.
A little bit. Sorry about that. First pitch is in the dirt. So we can't call this dirt.
No, we can't. No.
First
It's
pitch,
turf,
it's
baby.
turf, in the turf. Acosta takes this one down the left field line, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. So if I call the earth, should I call the turf, turf?
You could.
Okay.
You look at the young lady up the plate right now, Acosta, and she's really one of the big sluggers on this team, Corey, batting .429 for the season.
Leads the team in RBIs with 15. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner on second. Popped up in the infield. Underneath is Giselle Roldan, and that's the 2nd out of the inning.
And Corey, you talked about the dimensions being 190, and we were told it's 190, 190, 190. So, I mean, basically it's a square. It's not one of these fields that you're looking at 235 to deep center.
Yeah, and it's the minimum dimensions you can have.
In the NCAA.
Yes. So Leslie Ariola takes the first pitch, and that's on the outside corner. Nice placement by Guerrero. Rivera still at second base. In right field, Gabby Gonzalez. Left field is Jessica Barrera. Guerrero with the windup. Takes a little something off of that one into the LA Valley dugout.
And when you look at these first few hitters that come to the plate for LA Valley, none of them have multiple strikeouts. These aren't ladies that have 10, 12, or 15 strikeouts. They may have 3 at this time of the season. Very few for people that come to the plate.
Yeah, the only one with double-digit strikeouts is Destiny Velasquez. She's got 14. And that's the most by far. She flares this one in the right field, right to Gabby Gonzalez, and she makes the catch stumbling. So no runs, one hit, no errors, one left on base at the end of one. Condors 0, Monarchs 0. This is Community College Softball on SportsNetUSA.net.
And of course, Corey was talking about, well, the only stats that really matter as SportsNetUSA.net when you look at them. But if you go to the CCCAA, where you look at Mount Sac being number 1 in the southern section with Cypress 2, Palomar 3, Fullerton a surprising number 4. And if you go up north, Corey, well, it's College of San Mateo, Monterey Peninsula, Reedley. Ed and I were talking about Reedley College and their facility up there, San Joaquin Delta, and Sierra.
Yeah, and Reedley just lost this week, so that was their third loss of the season. I mean, that's pretty much in order of what the RPI says for the CCCAA. But the rankings, the true rankings, we're going to get to those in the third inning mark. We're going to get to the strong 16 of SportsNetUSA.net. So Giselle Roldan, shortstop, 4 home runs, 4 triples, both lead the team, batting .469. The right-hander steps in. Moulton, 11-3 on the season. Hot shot down third base, up with it, over, not in time. Wait, did they call her out?
Wait, what? You want to go back and redo that?
Let me recall that one as Leslie Ariola came up firing as she bobbled it, threw it over to Lau. And I guess they gunned her out.
They call it a pick from where we were at, and realize we're in right field. So we don't have the angle at the plate.
I thought she crossed the bag before the ball got there, but hey, excellent defense by the Monarchs. The way to stick with it.
You know why they called her out? Because they were afraid you were going to say that wasn't an error.
And this was right down the third baseline, but this one is foul. So broadcast rule 101, don't anticipate. Top of the second inning. Michaela Barrera takes that one low. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, see, now I have her name hyphen.
Barrera Herod.
Yes. So just want to make sure everybody knows we're all talking about the same young lady.
Batting .381. Next delivery, flare to second base, over to Lau for the putout. That one's a little bit easier as Julie Sendejas scoops it up cleanly and delivers for the second out.
You've seen 2 balls now, Corey, come off the carpet, and they're staying down low. You're not getting any unusual hops. We got told by Coach Venger that the ball grabs on a hard-hit ground ball on this carpeted turf. Unlike on many turfs, the ball will get overspin and take off on an infielder.
Yeah, well, you saw it on that one. It was flared, nubbed off the end of the bat, and it hit the turf and just kind of died there. Oh, 1 pitch on the way. This one's too low. 1-1, 2 outs. Top of the second. Condors up to bat. Monarchs, you look at Moulton, Mark. 11 wins, 3 losses, and 88 innings pitched. 32 walks, 32 Ks. This one catches the outside part of the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Erin Lawley, the head coach for Oxnard in her second season. She comes from up north. Led to Malpis High School to a CIF division title. This one's outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, she sort of looked at us and said, well, nobody even knows that there's softball in Northern California.
This one's on the way. This one is flared behind second base, and Deas over. This one's definitely not in time. As Barrera goes to second, and she's standing, that's Perea. heading to second base on the overthrow by Zendejas.
So if you're scoring at home with us, like we know you are, you're going to give a base hit, and then you're going to put an error on that because the overthrow allowed the runner to go from first to second. So give it a hit and an error in this inning.
Yeah, Miranda Guerrero, the pitcher, batting left-handed with 2 outs. See what she can do. Takes that one low in the dirt or in the turf. 1 ball, no strikes.
You can call it dirt. That's okay, Corey. I know it's really it's a pretty field. I'm not sure I'd like to play on it, but it's a pretty field.
This one's fouled straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'd love to play on it.
Hey, if I can't get dirty, why am I out there?
I got allergies. No dust, no dirt. I'm good. Caitlin Pineda in center field. Right field is Ashley Acosta. And in left field, we've got Erica Zietz. This one's grounded. Rivera, Lau, out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left on base. And that's the end of 1.5. Still no score here at LA Valley.
And you were talking about it, Corey. When you look at the rankings, you will hear Corey and I talking about the rankings today, about the sports@usa.net. You'll hear the coaches' rankings, and then you go to RPI. And Corey, I don't know, since RPI has come into the conversation of softball, I really do think it has hurt people on the judgment of teams. You look at RPI. RPI is based on what your competition is like when you're playing. And you could have, like Michigan right now in the NCAA, ranked 25th, Division I, and they're only 1 game over 500, but their RPI is so good, that's why they've got them in the top 25.
Well, you look at this 3C FCA. Fresno City is 4-6, yet their RPI ranking is 7th in NorCal. 7-7 is College of Sequoias, 5-5 Cosumnes River. And these are 7, 8, and 9 teams in the RPI rankings, yet they're nowhere to be found in the top 25 rankings. In the southern section, you got Bakersfield sitting at 7 and 8. They're ranked number 9 with the RPI.
See, I really find that difficult because you could play teams that are playing very, very well, and then all of a sudden they take a tumble, and people look at them and say they weren't as good as we thought they were going to be, so therefore I'm going to drop your RPI. Well, they were dynamic when I played them, but I get penalized if they're not dynamic or their schedule gets tougher at the end of the season. My RPI drops, and if you base on how you get in the playoffs, because Ed Ford can chime in on this one, just because you got a great record doesn't mean you're going to the playoffs.
Ask LA Valley that. Ask LA Valley that about the Player of the Year last year that they had, that we agreed on, but nobody else agreed on.
Yeah, it's just the way it gets looked at. So that total argument on what you look at, RPI overall, just ranking on wins and losses or what?
De La Vasquez, Lau, and Zietz. 1, 2, 3 for the Monarchs. Takes the first pitch, low and inside from Guerrero. At the corners are Holman and Perea. Second is Acosta, Caitlin Acosta. This one is line drive into center field, eats up Barrera, and Mark is going to call that one an error. So it's going to be a single and an error on the get pass, on the get by.
Well, and it should be because it was misplayed. Corey, it wasn't hit into the gap per se that I had to go try and track it down. It was hit to dead center, and it was misplayed by Barrera in center field. She let the ball play her instead of her playing the ball. Therefore, it should be an error, but they're very kind here at LA Valley. They don't give an error on the play. Well, they did.
They did, yeah.
They did give an error. Good for them.
First pitch to Lau is in there for a strike.
No, Alvarez gives me a thumbs up and goes, yeah, Mr. Pavlovich knows what he's doing. Still trying to figure out you because you keep calling it dirt.
Didn't I just call that an error?
You said I'd call it an error.
Yeah, I know, and I agree. Off-speed pitch by Guerrero. Swinging a miss by Lau. No balls, 2 strikes.
Corey, this is a team, too, when you look at this LA Valley team, they're not traditional softball runner at second base, drop down and bunt.
No, we talked to Coach Avenger before the game. He said we are going to hit, and hit some more. This one's rolled into the catcher, There goes De La Vasquez, and she slides in there safely, easily into third base. Runner in better scoring positions for Lau.
You know, give her a great deal of credit on the running aspect. You will be told by a coach more than once, if the ball kicks to the left or right on a catcher, you should be going on the play. Because they've got to go find the ball, then find you. So very heads-up running for LA Valley.
Lau goes up high and smacks it foul. Rise pitch delivered by Guerrero came up above the numbers. Lau was so dialed in, she had a good crack at it. Just foul.
She's only got 1 RBI so far this season on a protective team. She's got 2 RBIs? Well,
Yeah.
then you got stats later than I did because I've got them where she's got 1.
And this one's low off speed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Of course, I saw Moulton's record 11-4, but I went with the 11-3 record, so because it makes it sound better.
You know, if you're Miranda Guerrero right now in the circle, if you're LA Valley, you wait for that off-speed pitch.
Yeah. This one again, because they're not late on anything.
No, so you can wait on that, and if she floats that, then guess what? You jump all over it.
Yeah.
You turn your hips. You get that momentum to go from the back foot to the front foot. You put torque on the ball by doing it. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, 11 home runs on the season. That's good for 6 out of a whole lot of California softball teams. Good pitch by Guerrero, nubs it back. 1-3 if you're scoring at home.
And you had a really tough play for Velasquez over third base because if you see Guerrero coming off the mound, Corey, she never glances at the runner at third base. She's halfway down the line, and yet the runner goes back. I don't know. That might be a play where if I'm the coach at third base, I send her home.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about now, but I don't think you send her.
You keep her on the bag?
I keep her on the bag. There's one foul down the left field line and out of play. Erica, the left fielder, and we're going to call her Erica from now on, the sophomore. Batting .256 on the season, 7 RBI. So you got a good chance of picking up at number 8 here.
She's from Poly High School.
This one's popped up in the infield. Under it is Caitlin Acosta. And now Mark Pavlovich is looking more and more like a Svengali. Because maybe you should have sent Velasquez. That's the second out.
And that's one of those pop flies that you've got to make the play on. I mean, it's a very tough play to make. Acosta makes it over at second base. Corey, if it hits the ground, there's no infield fly rule. You don't get bailed out on that play. You've got runners in for a score and a runner sitting on second base.
Well, Alyssa De La Torre now steps to the plate. That's a low one outside. Good stop by Destiny Murillo. Destiny's got a real good chance to be an all-conference player in the Western State Conference at the end of the season.
You watch her as a catcher. She really goes down as a hockey goalie. She will use those legs and everything to block the softball behind the plate.
And this one is high and inside. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the second inning here. No runs, 1 hit for Oxnard. No runs, 2 hits for LA Valley. Both teams with an error so far. No damage done.
Many catchers forget to use that lower body.
This one foul tipped back. We're going to have to bring out our list of the best that's been able to do it at the catching position.
Yeah, we'll do that our next game we do. We'll bring out some of who we think. We may not be right, but it's who we think.
Foul tip, good off-speed pitch by Guerrero. I think she was waiting for something else. She wasn't waiting for a pitch to come straight down the middle. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Outfield playing straight away. Delivery off speed, grounded to short. Up with it is Rodan over to first base to home, and that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error. And at the end of 2 full, no score here at LA Valley College. This is California Community College Softball on SportsNetUSA.net.
Hey, you know what? You ought to take time out to go out to your local community college and follow the sports that are out there. These are student athletes that come out and play. We talk about the young ladies in softball for the simple reason they can use the game of softball to make a step to that next level and be able to play where they want to play, like Amanda Grauer over at UCLA right now. Corey, it's a sport that's an enjoyable sport. I enjoy it more than baseball. And the community colleges just get shortchanged because it is probably the best entertainment for the cheapest dime you can find in California, around the nation, here on sportsnetusa.net.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about that. Everybody 18 and under should be able to get in for free, no matter what sporting event it is, no matter what type, no matter if it's a playoff or championship game. Every person under 18 should get in for free. Every person over 65 should get in free as well. And experience.
I like the 65. I like the over 65 thing.
Grow your game on all levels. And again, community college sports is such a phenomenal aspect. And we talked to Coach Binger here, and he says, I want players here on my softball team. I don't want just people to come in and say, I'm at the community college, that I just want to play college softball. It's not going to cut it if you want to build a winning program. They got winning facilities. Now they got a winning program that's needed.
Yeah, they really do. They've had a great football program. We've had the pleasure of calling the games for LA Valley for the last 6 to 7 years here on sportsnetusa.net.
Gonzalez now up. Gabby takes the first pitch low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Would you call them co-national champions one year in football? They went undefeated. They didn't get to play in the national championship.
In the American division, yeah. They were. That's what I would have called them. In the American division, they were co-national champions, even though they weren't crowned it. We crowned them.
Okay.
Gabby Gonzalez, Jessica Barrera, and Caitlin Acosta, the 3 up for the Condors. We'll set that defense in just a moment. Moulton in the circle delivers an off-speed pitch, fouled back. Erin Lawley patrolling third base line. Her assistant coach, Edna Gutierrez, in her 7th season as an assistant. Lawley in her 2nd season as head coach. Little heat on that one.
Gabby Gonzalez still getting used to the college game. Right now she's only batting 160 as an on-base percentage of 250, a slugging percentage of 200, but of course she hasn't had really a lot of at-bats, only 25 so far this season.
This one is grounded foul. And you can tell she's still been struggling on that pitch, the way her back foot came as she was hitting. Means Moulton had a nice off-speed pitch, who the coach said is same speed as the fastball, so it's a little bit deceptive. Her best pitch might be her drop ball. And a rise ball on that delivery. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs, top of the 3rd.
You've been around the game enough. You watch that rise pitch, and there's just no zip when it comes up high.
No, and that's the difference between a very good and effective rise ball and a rise ball that goes for, well, ball 3, and there's ball 4 on the inside corner. First walk given up. Oxnard, last outing out, Jessica Barrera. On the season, the freshman batting 160, 5 strikeouts, 2 RBI. Looks like we're going to see a bunt mark. Will we? Not yet. Outside corner for a strike.
Another team that likes to swing the bat, so that's one of the reasons you don't see that bunt.
Right. But back to the rise pitch, Mark. After this pitch, we're going to get into it, the difference between the speed and location. This one's in there for a strike, and that's the off-speed pitch, but it looks like a fastball, just a different delivery on the windup. But when you have a smoking fast pitcher, that rise ball is tantalizing because it rises at the last minute because it gets to you so quickly. And there's 3 straight strikes, and that's a strikeout, the first for Moulton today.
You look at Moulton so far this season, Corey, her strikeout to walk ratio is in the negative, which that you don't ever hardly see from a starting pitcher coming into the game. She had 28 strikeouts and 31 walks coming into the game. And again, you brought it up because of a lack of a rise ball. I mean, we've seen it. Rise balls, everybody drools on that rise ball.
Yeah, because if it doesn't have that velocity, you can see it coming straight off the fingertips, and it keeps going. You'll lay off of it. On that off-speed pitch, laid down perfectly to advance the runner to second base. as Caitlin Acosta does her job. And now standing at second is Gabby Gonzalez.
Ariola comes down, makes sure she feels the ball at third base, has no opportunity to get the runner at second. So you're going to take that for sure out on the play. Too many times if you hesitate over at third, you're not going to get that runner at first.
Acosta now 0 for 2. Charlie Holman checks into the batter's box. Lefty the first time. Lined out to right field. She takes that one inside for a strike. Holman on the season, 10 RBI, 8 stolen bases. Can't get on base there. That is going to be the third out. So no runs, 1 hit. Excuse me. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. At the end of 2.5, no score here on SportsNetUSA.net.
Really, when you look about it, 2 teams that come in here that are really slugging teams that supposedly have no pitching from the circle at the beginning of this game today. Well, it's just telling us a little bit different. And Corey, it says a lot about pitching from the circle. Yeah, the old days, you can go back to Valencia High School down in Orange County, and a lady who could strike out anybody that faced her. But now pitchers have changed.
Michelle Granger was not bad.
Michelle Granger was not bad at all. But things have changed in the game of softball. Not everybody's a burner anymore.
No, because you don't have to be. The rubber is being back, and the change in the concept of hitting is really the ultimate thing. There's no more sacrificing winning 1-run games. We'd rather go after it and hit the long ball. People want to see the long ball, and that's what the game is now.
And do you think that's part of it, too, that they wanted to make the game more exciting? I mean, you and I love softball. Well, I can say Corey Neyland lineage in softball goes back, 80 years?
Pretty much. I think if you have the combination of both long ball and small ball for your teams, I think that's the best brand of softball there is. But I think we look at this sport, and it's just growing and growing and growing. I think it's the best sport at the collegiate level for me right now to watch. And this will bring up Julie Zendejas. Zendejas, the number 9 hitter, playing second base, followed by Caitlin Pineda and Belinda Rivera. Zendejas on the season, 9 RBIs, batting .205. Big swing to short. Roll down up over to Holman for the first out.
So far, we've seen the infielders have no problems dealing with the turf, not like the dirt, not like in the old days that I was bringing. We brought it up earlier where the girls used to wear shorts and all the strawberries. You had a cousin that played the game. I asked you, did she wear the shorts in the old days?
Yeah, only when she was young. Tara Midget was an excellent softball player. She's never listening, so I'll brag on her a little bit. This one's lined to short. Roldan says, I got it.
Did your grandfather coach her when she played? He did?
Yeah.
I always knew he was associated with softball. I didn't know he coached her.
No, he coached. He coached a little bit. He taught her everything really she knew. And then, got on into other coaches in high school. I mean, her pitching coach was Kathy Van Wyck back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This one's lined over the head, outstretched hands of Caitlin Acosta. Gabby Gonzalez tries to get her out at first base, overthrows, but good backup by Destiny Murillo. So to keep Rivera at first base. So Rivera's 2 for 2.
And that's one thing you'll always hear from right fielders. They are told by their coaches, hey, if you can get that runner at first because they're lollygagging down the line, go for it.
Yeah.
Unlike the game of baseball where you just give up the base hit, softball players make you play to the very end.
Ashley Acosta with 15 RBI and 2 home runs, batting .400 on the season. Popped to short the first time out, and it swings wildly at a drop pitch from Guerrero. 0-1, 2 outs.
Throw it slow, throw it slower, and throw it really slow.
Yeah. By the way, Kathy Van Wyck, one of the best pitchers you've never heard of in softball. Out of Cal State Fullerton. Another off-speed pitch foul to the left side.
Runner going on the play, so playing a little run and hit. LA Valley trying to do something different, get the infield to move around on that. Get that run so that if you can make that turn at second, you force the outfielders to make a play.
This one's in the turf, gets past Murillo, jogging into second base. Staying at second base is Rivera. That was a third hit by LA Valley. 2 by Rivera. Runner in scoring position. Ashley Acosta, the right fielder.
Of course, you talk about Cal State Fullerton. You gotta always mention Judy Garman. We had the pleasure of doing many tournaments over there.
One-two pitch on the way, low in the turf, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner at second base.
And actually, the forerunner to the Judy Garman Classic, the Kia Classic, is where sportsnetusa.net started. You and Ed Ford calling a little D1 softball.
That one's a low. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
What game did you call?
Oklahoma versus DePaul.
Who won?
Oklahoma.
And then who called Oklahoma to Nebraska?
That would have been you and I think Scott Beck or you and Ed Ford.
It was you and I.
Oh, it was us?
It was us.
Okay. That's a rise pitch that came above the numbers, over the head, down in the glove, ball 4. First walk given up by Guerrero. That was us, huh?
Yeah, it was. Remember the guy walked up to us and
right.
said, you're on 4 25,000-watt stations in Nebraska, so don't get any names wrong?
Leslie Areola steps to the plate, her first time up. She flew out to right field. Runners at first and second. Acosta at first. Rivera at second. 2 outs. Bottom of the 3rd inning, no score. 3 hits for the Monarchs. 1 hit for the Condors. And this one is lifted. Foul, foul, and more foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
Nice position. She's working in and out on that one. Brings that one in on the hand. You turn on it. The only thing you can do is pull it foul because it's in so tight.
If she gets one out, she'll be in trouble, though, Mark. Areola's dialed in on this one. 1 home run, 10 RBIs. And she stays in, and that's out of here. And she brought one over the plate, and Leslie Areola said, see ya. 3-0. 4 hits for the Monarchs. The bottom of the 3rd inning, they get on the board quickly.
Hey, Corey, if that scoreboard's not there, I mean, it's 190. That scoreboard's not there. What do you think? Maybe it's going to go about 260, 270 because it
so
hit
190
up.
At the scoreboard at the top of the Monarch on the crown.
Right. With speed.
You're thinking about at least 230, 250.
Yeah. I mean, that was you couldn't have called it better. That thing was smoked.
So now Destiny Velasquez steps to the plate, and she's got power. That's the 12th home run of the season for the Monarchs. And that gives Areola 13 RBI on the season. This one's low in the dirt. Turf, dirt, no allergies, whatever. Guerrero 1-0 to Velasquez.
And that's Guerrero's 2nd home run she's given up this year.
Nice pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. She got ahead of that one. She came off like a fastball. I like the feet placement as well. She came off with the rotation where it looks like it's a fastball and put a little extra hip action into it. And this one's just good placement. Spot connection hitting the quadrants.
That's the same pitch that she gave up for a home run, but like you said, instead of it being over the plate, it's on the inside of the plate.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And this one's lined into center field, and up with it is Barrera, and that's another hit. So Velasquez hits a single, his 2nd hit of the 3rd hit of this inning.
You know, when you look at, you talked about Cheyenne Tarango over at Canyon High School when she was there. We talked about Brower up at Amador Valley when she was there. One of the things you really need to do is you've got to have that pitch that can get you out of the inning.
And that's the one thing that Oxnard, if anything's going to hold them back, it's going to be that one pitch, that 1 out pitch. As Lau steps up to the plate, grounded to first, her first time at bat. Excuse me, grounded back to the pitcher, and that's an error on the third base person, Perea. And sliding in safely as Velasquez into third base. So Perea commits the error, goes into left field, and that allows Lau to get the first. As it's dribbling into the left field, both runners advance.
And sometimes errors happen not because a player's not in the right position, but they put the glove in the wrong position. You watch that being a one hopper coming to third base, and you think it's going to take that loop hop that's going to drop into your glove. So you turn your glove face up like a basket instead of having your hands around where your hips are, so at least you can knock it down so that nobody can take an extra base on that play.
That'll bring up Erica. Erica TZIC. Sophomore right fielder. Right-hander takes one right at the belt for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs.
And, Chris, we always talk about softball. You have to have timely hitting, excellent pitching from the circling Corey. The defense just never gets talked about enough in the game of softball.
And it's critical. This one's fouled back. Nice crowd here. I remember you and Ryan, you and Ed were talking a little bit about what this facility was like 7 years ago.
This was a rock pile
7
years ago where we're at right now. Beautiful facility. They've done a great job.
This one's lined deep in the hole. Roldan can't come up with it in time, and that's going to score. Velasquez from third, advancing is Lau to third, and that's going to be a base hit for Erica.
And that's one of those plays for a shortstop that when you talk about the D1 players, you will see shortstops on D1 levels have rockets for arms. You get back in the hole that deep, you need to plant that back foot, stride, and you need to throw a BB over to first base. A lot of the players on the community college level don't have the strength in that arm to do that.
And you think she would have had a chance? She had that arm?
Yes. Oh, yes. I've seen that play. I saw that play at Michelle Crew Classic from a high school player. Of course, she went to play for Tennessee. Won a national championship, but what the heck.
This one's lined in the hole. Scoop, and that's going to be the third out. Nice job by Acosta getting in the hole, deep in the hole by second base, and flips to Roldan for the third out of the inning. But 4 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on base. That's the end of 3. The Monarchs 4. The Condors nothing. This is California Community College Softball on SportsNetUSA.net. Corey Neyland, Mark Pavlovich. Noah to our left, Ed Ford. Mixed master Ed Ford on our right. Speaking of Ed Ford, we got the SportsNetUSA.net Strong 16 Week 3. This came out on March 4th. It was Mount Sac again at the number 1 spot. San Mateo number 2, Cypress number 3, Monterey Peninsula number 4, Sierra number 5. That didn't change. Neither did San Joaquin, Delta, Reedley, or Palomar at 6, 7, and 8. Here's where it gets interesting. Foothill lost this week. They're number 9, so we'll see about the rankings next week. Santiago Canyon lost to Cypress this week. They were number 10. Orange Coast, who has a resurgence of a softball team, only 1 loss this season. That's to Cypress. They're number 11. Then it's Sac City, El Camino, San Jose, Santa Ana, and Fullerton makes the top 16.
They're a surprise team, Fullerton. Orange Coast, to me, is the real surprise team out of all of this. I didn't expect this out of Orange Coast College.
No.
To be very honest with you. Santa Ana, wouldn't be surprised. Fullerton, didn't think they'd be there, but not that surprised. Orange Coast College, when did this happen? That this softball team showed up out of nowhere when you look at them. Still, watch out for Coach Pickler and Cypress, Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
Coach Pickler and Cypress when we get towards the playoffs.
Destiny Murillo, Giselle Roldan, and Michaela Barrera will be up. Murillo bounced to short her first time out. Roldan bounced to third. And Barrera Barrera grounded out to second. Hannah Moulton still in the circle, delivering that one low. 12 complete games. This is her 16th game starting, 2.55 earned run average.
Of course, Corey, when we talk about women's sports, let us not forget that today basketball goes on. East LA versus Pasadena City College. The playoffs tonight, basketball. East LA Valley women once again right in the middle of everything, have a very good chance to win it all this year.
Yeah, Dan Godino on the call, 7 p.m. on SportsNetUSA.net. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's interesting. We're going to get into that in just a second. This one's grounded in the hole. Rivera up and firing to Lau. Great job by Belinda Rivera, firing over for the first out. So Murillo grounds out the shortstop 2 times this inning. We're in the top of the 4th, 4-0. Here's your score. Monarchs are, but Dan Godino calling the games for East LA. And Mark, the men were supposed to do big things in the playoffs. They were supposed to get to the state championships, and they get upset last week. This one's low in the turf. Ball 1. I was listening and watching into the game, and Dan was less than enthused about that loss. It was a good game, but he was expecting to call a championship this year on the men's side. Now he's got a chance to call it from the women's side. I think the East LA Husky team is due to get there.
Well, I mean, don't ever forget baby sister. Too many times, you know, Big Brother thinks that sports are all about Big Brother. Hey, don't forget little sister. She can bring down that trophy.
And that's the thing. East LA, the women's team, has been climbing to this level for a few years now. And I think they've got a real chance. This one's inside for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, Ryan Osborne and I were here a couple years ago and did a playoff game. And the enthusiasm for the women's program out here is outstanding. Just like if you look at the grandstands right now here at softball. Nice turnout today.
This one's high, 3 balls and 1 strike. There's that rise pitch. Little loss of concentration by Moulton at this at bat to Roldan. With the delivery and the windup. This one, she chased one. Areola over to Lau with the stretch. 2 up, 2 down. Murillo grounded to short her first time at bat. Roldan grounded to third her first time at bat. They do the same thing their second time at bat. Now Barrera grounded to second base her first time. Let's see if that structure stays true.
Well, I find it interesting with LA Valley. At the corners, Lan over at first, and then you look at Ariel over at third. They're a foot off the bag for each batter. So they don't play deep, Corey. They play even with the bags at first and third for LA Valley. Then you look over at second base, and you're sitting there, Sendejas, she's in your normal depth for a second base person, and then you've got somebody who's very deep over at short and Riviera.
And this one's hit to the second baseman, but just past him. Up and firing is Velasquez, but can't get her in time. Or excuse me, that's not Velasquez. That's Acosta, who's not in time. But the second base hit by the Monarchs, and that's by Barrera.
You know, and I really do. I find the positioning very interesting. And look how deep the outfield plays for LA Valley. I mean, I don't see them playing a shallow outfield. Or do you think they're just sort of playing straight away when you look at the outfield?
I think they're playing straight away.
Okay.
Sophomore Perea batting .359.
I mean, I know Acosta looks like she's straight away, but then you look over at Pineda in center field, and I don't know, she looks like she's about 4 or 5 steps deeper defensively.
A little bit deeper, but I think she's got enough speed. And Pineda, I think she's got enough speed to cover that ground and come up quick.
But again, I'm going to look over at Riviera at short. I mean, she is deep in the hole at short for LA Valley.
That one's ball 1. A little low. Yeah, she starts off deep, but she does take a couple steps inward when Moulton's in the delivery motion. And running at first base with 2 outs. They're down 4-0. This one is rolled. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs.
Okay, if one's hit to the gap, do you send the runner all the way? I'm playing dangerously here. Once hit the gap, I think the runner can get home.
No,
No?
no. 3 balls, no strikes. 3 balls, 1 strike. There's not enough lead at first base to send her all the way if it were to get to the gap. Now, if the count's 3 balls and 2 strikes, you run on anything, yeah, you're going to send them if it hits the gap. But you've got 2 outs here, down 4-0. Top of the 5th inning, or excuse me, top of the 4th inning, she draws the walk.
And once again, when you look at LA Valley and they've got a 4-0 lead, this is a team that will ride the arm of their starter their entire time. We got told by Coach Benjer they're winning the game 12-0 the other day. They head for that basically mercy inning, and you think the starter's coming out. Moulton looks at the coach and says, no, this is my game. I got it.
Guerrero lifts one into left field, and under the ball is TZIC, Erica Seats. And she makes the 3rd out, records the 3rd out of the inning. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and there were 2 left on base.
You do know I want to do like the YMCA thing when you just spell her last name there, don't you?
I'm sorry.
You know, it's like buying, I mean, you would walk into Miller Toyota of Anaheim and just say, I want a car. Not a car, man. It's a Toyota. It's a brand new Toyota at Miller Toyota of Anaheim. You're going to get the best deals, the best salespeople, the best quality of service. Any place in Southern California is going to come from one place. That's Miller Toyota of Anaheim. So if you just want a car like Corey Neyland, go any place. But if you want a brand new Toyota or maybe a nice used Toyota, there's no better place to go than Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Located at Euclid in the 91, Miller Toyota of Anaheim is a proud sponsor of high school sports, community college sports, but most of all education. That's Miller Toyota of Anaheim. That's C-A-R in case you go out looking. Just help you out a little.
Because I can't spell Toyota. So I need a C-A-R, not a T-O-Yota.
When you look at softball, right now Florida's #1 in the nation on Division I. You look at the last few years, it's been Florida, it's been Oklahoma, Auburn lurking around there. UCLA, well, yeah, the Pac-12, if you go down to 27, they got 6 teams in the top 25. UCLA's there. Why? Because UCLA's got that reputation and they get the talent. Cal State Fullerton not having a bad year with Kelly Ford down in the Fullerton area. So local teams, Cal State University Long Beach, having a nice softball season.
Bottom of the 4th inning. Julia Sendejas up to bat for the Monarchs, and she takes that one low and low and low and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. After Sendejas, Pineda, who struck out and lined out in her 2 at-bats, and Rivera, who doubled and singled and scored a run. Guerrero still in the circle. This one's in center field as a pop-up, and that is down by Michaela Barrera. Sendejas now 0 for 2. Brings up Pineda, who on the season, 4 home runs, 10 RBI, 4 stolen bases. She has an .810 slugging percentage. 42 at-bats with 19 hits, scored 17 times. Miranda Guerrero's first pitch was outside and high, 1 ball, no strikes.
Where you look at this LA Valley team, one of the top teams in triples, and you can see why. Because everybody can lace the softball when they have an opportunity.
As Pineda does there in the in left field. And you talk about triples. Oxnard is #1 in triples, tied with Long Beach and Santiago Canyon. But both are in the top 15 in hits. Oxnard 9, LA Valley 5. Home runs, LA Valley 6, Oxnard 10. I mean, these are offensive teams. Ooh, they can play with anybody on the offensive side of the ball. This one's low in the dirt. Throw down to first. They almost have her, but Pineda's too quick. Slides in head first to second. We're going to count that as a stolen base.
Here it is. That's a stolen base.
I know.
Oh, I thought you said don't count that as a stolen base.
Oh, no, I said, yeah, we're going to count this as a
okay.
stolen
Okay.
base. That's her 5th. And I think she baited the throw down, too.
Well, that's every once in a while, too. If you're a catcher, you're behind the plate, you pump fake it, you might not be able to get the runner. The runner breaks, you throw him out at second.
And there's one in the hole. Diving is Roldan. Can't come up with it, and that's going to leave Pineda at third. As Roldan stopped it just enough for it going to completely into center field. So runners at the corner on a single by Rivera.
So with one out, you're going to play at double play depth at second and short. You're going to bring in the corners defensively. If you're Oxnard here and you're going to take it home, Corey, unless you can really turn it quickly over at first or third base. That's where Oxnard is set up as you look at them right now, that they've got their players at double play depth.
Well, Ashley Acosta steps to the plate, takes that one. Looked like letter high, but it was not. 1 ball, no strikes. Home plate umpire Bill Smith. Field umpire is Chris Gibbs, standing at short. Off-speed pitch, got her to chase a little bit. Foul ball, 1-1. Good pitch by Guerrero.
Yeah, it really is. And it's real interesting that you watch Acosta over at second. She'll play very deep. You look over at the shortstop, Rodan, very deep too. Then you bring him in at the corners. So you've got Holman that's even at first base. Inside the bag at third, Perilla, about 2 steps.
That's a strike. Down to second is Rivera. She's got a stolen base.
No throw on the move. So we'll see what they do if they're going to bring him up now at second and short. Still staying deep at shortstop is Rodan.
1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out.
So she'll give up the run if it's hit to her.
This one's fouled again to the left side. And again, with Acosta being in the groove here, you've seen that thinks she's finding her rhythm. Same what happened last inning with Ari Ariola with the 3-run bash. She found the rhythm. Guerrero is going to have to either come way outside for the chase or keep coming inside and hope she gets a dribbler.
I tell you what, I'm going to throw a rise pitch, but I'm going to throw it so high that it just looks good.
Yeah, but again, you talk about that velocity. I don't think the velocity is there. Guerrero's a good pitcher, but I don't think that velocity is there to make her chase it. Comes low again and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners at second and third. Bottom of the 4th. 4-0 Monarchs.
Are you a little surprised, though, right now that Oxnard isn't just crowding at the corners and halfway at second and short?
No.
No?
No.
I would be. I'm
Nobody,
down by 4.
They're not going to bunt.
Yeah, but I'm going to get that runner at home. I'm down by 4.
And she rises on the outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
All right, now, I tell you what. If I'm at the plate, I'm looking for the off-speed pitch. Right down the middle. I'm looking for the off-speed pitch right down the middle, and if she burns me with something else, she strikes me out.
Guerrero winds, delivers, foul straight back. 1 full.
It was an off-speed, but it was right down the middle.
8 hits for the Monarchs, 2 hits for the Condors.
And I'm still going to come with the off-speed pitch. She turns on and beats me, she does, but I think I'm going to make her freeze.
Off-speed pitch low, and there's Pineda from third. She slides in ahead of the tag. Advancing to third base is Rivera. Throw down to second base as Acosta kept running on the walk. And as they throw down, Murillo throws down a second base, and here comes Rivera.
And here's where I'm a horrible coach. Because she runs into my player standing straight up. And I'm going to call interference on that play. I'm going to walk out there and yell for interference. Because my player doesn't have an opportunity to make a play at the plate. And I'm going to say it's an obstruction on her part. She was giving herself up, but she obstructed my player from getting out of the way to be able to make a tag and make a play at home. I think I get the call from the umpire.
No, I don't. I really don't. I don't think she was running fast enough to obstruct anything.
I don't think you need to.
I think you do. I mean, and that clears the bases. I think you really do because she was jogging to second base.
She was giving herself up.
Yeah, she was giving herself up, but she was jogging. Here's where Roldan walked into her, tagged her out, and then threw. I don't think there was an obstruction there.
That'd have been a fun call if somebody had come out and challenged it. I think I would have just for the sake of to put the umpire in a spot and say, hey, obstruction on my player.
So with 2 runs across, that gives it lead 6-0 for the Monarchs. And Ariola, who hit that 3-run blast her last time up, takes that one for a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike. And you know what? I'm surprised they had her taking on that. I really am. That one's inside for ball 4. So they didn't play around with her this time, Mark.
And this is the thing as we get ready to head into the playoffs, Corey. I mean, a lot of people will go rah-rah for teams, but
we got a long way for the playoffs.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I think you're setting yourself up now because of the rain delays and everything else. I think it's playoff time right now because I think a team could get tired and lose 4 in a row and have absolutely no shot making the playoffs.
That's a strike in there, 0-1 to Velasquez.
I mean, we don't go deep into June playing softball.
No, but I think he's still got at least another week and a half, 2 weeks to really worry about the playoffs. She goes down, dribbles one to the third base, and that's going to be foul. But I think teams like this, like Oxnard and LA Valley, these are the teams that you don't want to lose because you're thinking about, okay, I got to stay in playoff mode, in playoff contention. I don't have to worry yet. Out to Perea. Over to home. A nice ballet move, crossing first base for the 3rd out. Not before damage is done. 2 runs, 2 hits. No errors. And 1 left on base. At the end of 4. LA Valley 6, Oxnard nothing. This is California Community College Softball on SportsNetUSA.net.
Let's stick with that for a second because we talked about it earlier. I mean, Oxnard's in a conference that is with a group of softball teams that nobody's running away in that group. You said maybe Ventura might be the one to look at.
Nobody's running away. Ventura's good. Bakersfield is good. Santa Monica, Oxnard, Moore Park. There's nobody out there in that division that's going to say, okay, we're just that much better.
But see, and that's why I don't think you can allow yourself to get muddled in that because I don't think anybody will look at you, even if you win that, to go in the playoffs. Same on the flip side for LA Valley. LA Valley's been snubbed before.
Yeah, but if they win, they're in.
No,
LA Valley.
They could get snubbed. Did they change that, Ed? If you win, you're in now in the playoffs? No. So you can get snubbed if you win your conference.
Yeah, I don't think they do that because that would be unfair. Because if you do that, no, I know they do it. But I think if you win your conference and you don't get to the playoffs,
Ed almost potted you down on that one. He was laughing so hard.
No, here's the thing: if you get snubbed and you win your division and you get snubbed, get rid of conferences.
Well, Ed and I talked about it on the ride up here, and we've talked about it before. You win your conference, you need to get rewarded.
Yeah.
You need to get rewarded. I don't care if you win your conference at 4-13. All right, you won't go any place in the playoffs, but you won your conference.
Yeah.
But I think for both these teams right now, I think it is playoff time.
Yeah. I think LA Valley, I think they have to take the playoff mentality the rest of the season because they're sitting in second place in a WSC East, right behind Antelope Valley College. AVC is always one of those quality teams, but LA Valley has a chance to leapfrog them and be the best team in conference. Canyons is going to be there as well, but I think LA Valley has a chance to be the best team, get to the playoffs, and make up for being snubbed for Player of the Year, being snubbed for not making the
Well,
playoffs.
and you have to have a reputation. Let's look at the OEC. Fullerton College made it into the playoffs. Guys, let's be realistic. Their softball team didn't deserve to be there last year, but they got into the playoffs. All right? I mean, sometimes it's because of whom you are. You get into the playoffs. Not how good you are, who you are.
2 balls, no strikes. Hannah Moulton still in the circle.
And I think you should reward a coach like Coach Benger, who's really got a good team this season.
Bounce to Moulton over the Lau. 1 up, 1 down. Gabby Gonzalez heads back. She's 0 for 1. Walked her first time at bat.
You know, it's not like when I went to Fullerton College and there was only 2 softball teams. You either won or you came in last place. I mean, you know, not like the old days.
Yeah, that's because colleges just started when you went to school. It was Fullerton and Santa Ana. That's it.
That's it.
Jessica Barrera, the lefty, she lifts one in the left field, but right at Erica Zietz. And if Mr. or Mrs. Zietz or a family member of Miss Zietz is listening, go ahead and tweet us at Sportsnet USA Net or at Sportsnet USA or at Sportsnet USA 1. Tweet us and tell me, get my child's name right.
Hey,
Get my sister's name right.
They can tweet the coaches show
Get
and
my
tell the
niece's
3
name
boys
right.
that are doing the coaches show. Noah Alvarez, one of the hosts on the coaches show, here today on sportsnetusa.net.
And I am going to blame Noah too, because we asked him to go get the pronunciation. So that one is at the knees for a strike. No balls, 2 strikes.
He gets all the names right on the coaches show. That's all that matters. He's a host of that show. He gave you a name. You blow it, it's your fault.
Barrera struck out her first at bat.
I'm personal friends. That's why I use everybody's first name.
Excuse me, that's not Barrera. She made the last out. Caitlin Acosta is up to bat. She's 0 for 2. Hannah Moulton looking for her 12th win of the season. Bounced in the corner. Rivera up with it over to Lau. That one is out. 3 up, 3 down. That was quick.
I've never seen a first baseman do that. Not stretch, lean back, put my front foot up, not stretch and help my infielder out. What is that? What is that? I want to run out there and go, girl, you got to reach out and grab that ball. Here on SportsNetUSA.net. Mark Pavlovich, Ed Ford, Corey, who cares about your last name?
Just call me Corey. 6-0 at the bottom of the 5th inning as we head into it. 8 hits for the Monarchs, 2 for the Condors. 2 errors for the Condors, 1 for the Monarchs.
So you got any front runners that you're going to pick that you're going to say, going to go out and limb right now and say they're going to win the championship this year?
You know what? I'm going to say East LA women's basketball is going to win the state championship this year.
Okay.
They play PCC, who's an athletic team. They got teams that I think one of the players had a triple-double this season and has flirted with triple-doubles for a couple other times. But the coach of East LA always has them playing hard. Dan Godino will tell you that it's a joy to watch them play full court.
Can I watch that game tonight?
7 p.m.
on
SportsNetUSA.net.
East LA women's basketball playoff time. See if the ladies can move on as the men stumble along the way.
They got upset. They lost 64-61. They had a chance going into the last shot, but they just couldn't pull it out.
Those are tough games to lose.
Yeah.
I tell you, really good broadcast. And Dan does a great job at East LA Valley.
You've been going out on the limb for softball.
Yeah, I want to know that
okay,
too.
okay.
I knew you were going to pick the front runner in basketball. You are one of those guys that climb on the teams that are still there.
Lauren Lau, Erica, and Alyssa De La Torre to bat for these first 3. If anybody gets on, then I'll bring up Julia Sendejas. Bottom 5.
I'm going to give Perry Webster a little love too, because I hope Perry has the opportunity to make it again this year too, the final game, and possibly win it.
Now that's an off-speed pitch by Guerrero. I mean, Lau was way out in front. I mean, she was swinging the ball, wasn't even there yet. Yeah, but this is an upset waiting to happen if you're Southwestern. I'm serious. Without Ezekiel Alley for Fullerton at the point guard position, there's still a very, very good team that's blowing outside. But the way Southwestern plays, if an upset were to happen, it would be tonight. If Fullerton gets past this game tonight, they will win the championship.
Okay, Perry Webster, if you're listening to us, you heard Corey Neyland. Win this one, and the ring is yours.
Let's hope they do that. Foul tipped. Staying alive is Lauren Lau.
Another little off-speed pitch right there. And really, Corey, when you look at the off-speed pitch, I mean, Guerrero, if she could just find one more pitch to be able to bring from the circle. A little hocus-pocus smoke pitch. Oxnard's got a chance.
This was bounce Roldan over to her right side. Fires to Holman. Now that's the next level alarm that you wanted Roldan to show earlier in this game.
Yeah, she went back all the way. She actually went back deeper in the hole than she did before. She sets that back foot, and instead of just throwing with the arm, that time she put body into it. And, I mean, I don't care who you are. Yeah, there are the exceptional people that can fling it just with arm. But let me tell you, if you can put body into it, you're not going to blow out a shoulder or go, ow, that hurt, I don't want to do it again.
Yeah, the right-hander Seat steps into the batter's box. She takes one high. 1 ball, no strikes. Monarchs came into this game averaging 7.5 runs a game, 325 batting average, 12 home runs now, 3.18 earned run average. And Mark says that's not good earned run average.
I do not. You know me.
Bounce back to Guerrero. She's up with it over to Holman for an out. That'll be out number 2.
If you look at the top teams, the really good teams, everybody might hover around 2. There might be some that are below 2. I like the mid ones. I'd like it to be below 1, but that's not always going to happen. But if you're at the mid or close to mid ones in community college softball, I tell you what, nobody's going to stand a chance to beat you when it comes to the playoffs.
And the Monarchs, if you have a 3-1 earned run, there's a bouncer to Roldan over the home. And again, that's 1, 2, 3. So that'll end at the bottom of the 5th inning as we move to the top of the 6th with 6 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Monarchs. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors for the Condors. This is California Community College Softball on SportsNetUSA.net.
You know, Corey, we're talking about some of the players that have come. Of course, some of the last few high school players that have moved on. Last year, Player of the Year, Montana Fouts. Well, she's over at Auburn right now. She's already been the 2-time SEC Freshman Player of the Week. We also mentioned already about some of the other players that have moved on. Taylor Dawkins. We remember Taylor Dawkins when she played high school ball, played out there in Corona. Then she went to Cal State Fullerton. The only thing, unfortunately for Taylor, playing the game of softball, also fighting a very deadly disease, which has hurt her career along the way. That's one heck of a young lady when you look at her. Then after that, it was Carolyn Hitchcock that's over at Arkansas right now. Boy, I tell you what, the South is getting all the good softball players.
That's one of those things where they call the facilities.
And then you look at the Snow girls, all 3 of them. They're sitting down at Auburn right now. Talon Snow over there out of Chino High School. Some of the high school players that have moved on to the next level.
Charlie Holman steps into the batter's box, 0 for 2 tonight, followed by Murillo, who's 0 for 2, and Roldan, who's 0 for 2. And then we'll get, after this half inning, I think we'll get into the LA Valley players and coaches. And, you know, we were talking about one coming over here. That one's low and away, 2 balls, no strikes. We'll get into the career of Roberta Robbie Mulkey. Has a little bit of an Orange County connection, too. 2 balls, no strikes. 3rd pitch on the way, outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Pineda in center, Acosta in right. Seach in the left. Flared pad on the left field line. Shortstop is Belinda Rivera. 3rd base is Leslie Areola. Lauren Lau at first base, and at second base is Julia Sendejas. The battery, Destiny Velasquez, Hannah Moulton still in the circle. Off-speed pitch. Ooh. They're going to say high. 3 balls, 2 strikes, full count, no outs.
And if I'm not mistaken, LA Valley at one time in softball did win the Southern Section Community College Softball Championship?
Yeah, they won the championship. There's ball 4 as Holman takes the place. 1962 they won that, Mark. Yeah. Coached by Mulkey.
She's in the LA Valley Hall of Fame.
Destiny Murillo now 0 for 2 this afternoon. This one's bounced foul. I still can't figure out this weather. It's hot right here. Here's good radio and TV when you can't see me. It's hot right here. And it's cold everywhere else.
Well, because that's the only part of your body that's doing any exercise.
I still think it was that pizza from last night. Murillo takes one high. Good placement by Velasquez. But better eye by Murillo. 2 balls, no strikes. Excuse me, 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs.
One of the local restaurants. We had pizza at last night. Excellent pizza.
2 balls, 1 strike, Moulton. And here's where the concentration is going to be key. When you have that killer instinct, you want to take it right now. Bounce to Rivera. Over to second for 1. Over to first. Not in time. Murillo beats it.
And here again, when you're at second base and you're trying to make a turn as a second base person, every second base person, and Sendejas does it, is what she does, is she ends up putting the bag between her and the runner.
And we've got a slight change here.
It's now Acosta over at second base. Ashley Acosta is at second base now.
She moves in from right field. And now in right field is Ruby Vargas. Bounce to Acosta. She goes to Rivera at second. Nice slide by Murillo to negate a throw down to first base. So again, another lead runner out, another force play.
And what you do is you catch that person's foot on the bag. That's a lot of people talk about sliding nowadays in the game of softball and everything. What's a hard slide? What's a slide that shouldn't happen? But if you're going to go across the bag, catch somebody's leg, like in there, not with the intent to hurt, but the intent to stop.
That one's right off of the ankle for Moulton. It scoots into right field. She's limping in the circle, and that's going to be a base hit.
And that's one thing LA Valley can't have helping. We had Coach Venger tell us this, Corey. I'm riding on one arm. The thing that disrails my season is if I have somebody in the circle get hurt, my season comes to an end.
No, I think he said if Moulton gets hurt, that season comes to the end. But we're one pitcher away from having 6-0 games to having 24-23 games or 17-10 games. Because
my season comes to an end. That's a polite way of putting it.
No, I think you got enough offensive firepower to get far enough. If you happen to make the playoffs and get to the second round, then you're going to have pitching because pitching comes to the forefront. We saw that last year with San Mateo and Mount Sac and Palomar. She stays in the game, delivers high, ball 1. Perillo singled and walked in her first 2 plate appearances. That one hits the corner. That's the front part of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs.
And Corey Neyland would say, well, Mark, what do you like as ERA? Well, Tabitha Dyer out of Penn State, ERA 0. Chelsea Howard out of Birmingham,
you're going
0.
to NCAA. At the community college level, it's a little bit higher at the average. If you got a 2.5, I'll deal with that.
You deal with a 2.5
at the community college level.
You can live with a 2.5 on the community college level.
Yes, I can.
Wow. Wow. No, thank you. I want better than that pitching. I'm old school, man. Pitching is the quarterback of softball.
Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on.
You're not going to win if you don't have a good quarterback. You're
That's
not
true,
going to
but
win if
here's
you
my
don't have an
thinking.
exceptional person in the circle.
2-5 will get me to the playoffs. All I need to do is get hot in the circle. And like a good goalie, if I get hot for 3 games, I'm golden. I'm good. I got a championship. Because my bats, as long as they stay hot or one time they hit, I'm good.
But at this stage of the game, most of these young women are not going to learn a new pitch. So if I've seen your pitcher 15 games, I know what I'm getting.
Yeah. And you're going to get somebody
2.55 is not
who's
going to
just
win it
that
for
good.
me.
Not if I average 7 runs a game. That's good enough.
That's got nothing to do with pitching.
Hey.
That's got nothing to do with pitching.
Hey, I'm just saying, 2.55, that's good. You keep it low, we get our runs, we're good.
Every team's going to score runs. Not every team's going to throw a shutout.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Moulton inside. Did it hit her? No, but it walked her. So bases are loaded. So Perea at first base.
And I understand
Barrera at second base.
And I understand.
I know somebody else is at third. No, I'm just kidding. What you say?
I know this is community college. I understand when I bring up those other numbers. Those are the top in D1. But at the same time, for those players that don't go to a D1 school for whatever reason,
Right.
you know, you really do. If these girls, this is their goal, Corey, to go to the next level.
I know, Mark.
It's not like some people that went to community college and just couldn't get out of it. Just ask me.
Amanda Guerrero up to bat, trying to help her own cause, and she does. A single to left center field. That brings home Rodan. Guerrero rounding third, slides into home, and she is safe. 6-2 is your score as Perea heads to second base, and Guerrero gets 2 runs back, making a score of 6-2. That's only the 3rd hit of the game for them. We're in the top of the 6th inning with 2 outs.
And here's the problem. That we go back to the argument we just had. I'm up 6-0. If I don't have a pitcher that can't stop somebody from putting 5 runs on the board, then I'm playing in these slugfest all the time.
That's what the fans want, Mark. They want
what I want.
high scoring action.
You know, I'm a good-looking 22-year-old right about now who is aged overnight.
Runners at first and second. Perea at second. Guerrero at first. Gonzalez walked and grounded back to the pitcher, her 2 times at bat. Meeting in the circle, Ariola wants to know what's happening with 2 outs, 2 balls, no strikes. You want to say, let him hit it.
And we can go back for a team that struggled with pitching. Santiago Canyon, a team that had people that could smoke the softball. What did we say during those games? If they had one more pitcher, they could do something.
That is true. They may have more than 1 state championship.
That's right.
But I'll be happy.
There's 3 of us here that would agree to that.
Yeah, but they got 1, so it can work.
Well, even a blind squirrel can find a nut once in a while.
Yes, and everybody eats. That's a good thing. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runners at first and second. Moulton delivers. Foul tipped in the area of Gabriella Neyland. She raises her hand but can't come up with it. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners will be moving.
Gabby down there with the speed gun. Let us know after the game how hard the ladies were throwing from the circle.
You know, Czech has a national softball team. Payoff pitch low. That'll load the bases again. The score is 6-2. Top of the 6th inning. 1 swing of the bat can tie it up.
Yeah, and I bet
that brings them to the plate. Jessica Barrera, Greg Venger to the circle.
I bet you their motto is everybody's eating, so the game's okay.
We were going to talk about Robbie Mulkey, the head coach for LA Valley for a time. 1962, they win the championship, the SoCal JC championship, National Softball Hall of Fame. along with the Hall of Fame here at LA Valley. That's just part of the situation we're going to talk about. When we get into this half inning, we'll give you a little bit more about it because it's fascinating. Bases are loaded. Perea at third. Guerrero at second. Gonzalez at first. Pereira bounces back to Moulton. Over to Lau. That'll end the inning. So 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left on base. At the end of 5.5, Monarchs 6, Condors 2. This is SportsNetUSA.net.
So as we get ready to talk about that, Coach, some people might say, well, how do you win those state championships back there? Well, one of the ways you win them is because you had an All-American, Hall of Famer, Pam Tishner Mockenhop, as your star pitcher. The 2-time All-Metro Conference selection. Pam played for the 2009 Hall of Fame, Robbie Mulkey, as a freshman. She threw 7 no-hitters, Corey. One was which a perfect game, along with 3 one-hitters, ending her season on the community college level with an ERA of 0.47.
Yeah, but that was 78-79 team, yeah.
All I'm saying is, how do you win games?
That was Mark. That was before the game changed. 78-79. Everybody was still playing in short shorts with the strawberries on the legs.
Oh, man, please.
And they were sliding in there. It was slap hitting. It was bunt hitting. Unless you were Sue Lewis, who passed away recently with a 38-inch bat. Unless you're Sue Lewis, you weren't hitting the long ball like that. Robbie Mulkey.
Pam threw 46 innings, gave up 1 hit. She threw 21 consecutive scoreless innings.
And
we talk about pitch. Come on, man.
And the rubber was closer, Mark.
Oh, please, Corey.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a great thing. You need pitching.
Go ahead. Keep talking about the coach.
In the 50s and 60s, she played for the Orange Lionettes, Mark. I mean, Orange Lionettes is a team that's well known worldwide. Batted .333, hitting 4 home runs in 1949 in 1 game. That record wasn't broken until 44 years later. I mean, she was a player who was revolutionary in the game of softball. And Lineage brings it over to LA Valley. That's the type of program and players they're trying to bring back now. This one's lifted high in the air, right to Guerrero, and that is the first out of the inning. That's Zendaya sits down. She's now 0 for 3.
ERA 0.47. Community college. Not D1, community college.
Caitlin Pineda now, who was 1 for 3 or 1 scored in the stolen base.
21 scoreless innings in a row.
Yeah, you look at Destiny Vasquez a couple years ago for Cypress. They went undefeated. They had great pitching.
46 innings at Golden West College. 1 hit she gave up.
There you go. That's not bad.
Community college, Corey. Community college pitching.
Yeah, I know. Santiago Canyon a couple years ago, 2016, wins the state championship, and their earned run average was over 2. There's a line ground ball up the middle. Base hit for Pineda.
More teams, the pool of talent gets waterized, so therefore there's more talent on a bunch of different teams, not a solidified talent on all team like the old days.
Doesn't matter. I'll win with good pitching. I'll win with not good pitching. Long as I win, I'm good. That'll bring up Rivera. Double, single, single. And a deep fly ball in the left field, and that is an out. So she is now 3 for 4. Good chase that time by Jessica Barrera. 2 quick outs. Or excuse me, 1 quick out.
Michelle Granger? I don't think her ERA was ever around 2.
Mark, let me put it this way. That's Michelle Granger, and you have everybody else. That's not the same level. That's not the same thing. I don't even put – when you say Michelle Granger, I just tune you out. Because that's just a different whole different type of pitcher. You remember how you told me one time about comparing people that you can't put them in the same breath? Don't put Michelle Granger, Lisa Fernandez, Kat Osterman in this conversation, because that's on a whole nother level.
Wow.
That's just a whole different level.
I got it.
Popped up,
I got it.
right field, under it. Gonzalez makes her second put out, and that'll end the inning.
So we're not putting Jenny Finch in this conversation either.
6-0 Monarchs. As we move to the top of the seventh inning with a 4-run lead, they've got 9 hits to the Condors 4. Only 1 error, but they've got the lead here on SportsNetUSA.net. No. We're talking community college softball, Mark. But we're talking about the average. And I don't mind 2.5 at the community college level. I'm not saying I wouldn't prefer lower.
And, you know, I know Cody over at Cerritos College, the head coach over there. You know Cody, the head coach over there. I mean, I asked her this once, too, before. And she said, what could I live with? She said, 1.75.
Okay.
She goes, that's what I should get. I won't get it, but that's what I should get. Did she think my under 1 was ridiculous for community college level? Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. And she played professional softball and everything else. When you talk to Lisa at Santiago Canyon, 1.5 is the best she thinks you'll see in community college. And Ryan Osborne can attest to that, because when I said under 1, she looked at me and she goes, if you find them, bring them to Santiago Canyon.
Yeah, and I think this is some of the best college you'll ever see, because these players, even though they don't get the notoriety and they think it's just community college, it's still quality players, and some of the best players. Moulton in the circle delivers. Low. Goes up high, and Caitlin Acosta, fouls that one off. 1 ball, 1 strike. No, but again, the community college players, some will go Division 1. This one's high, 2 balls and 1 strike. The most are going NAIA Division 2 and lower. And that's why I can live with the 2-5. If I get a 1-5, I'm winning. I'm losing 3 games, and I'm winning a championship with 1-5 or lower. Three balls, 1 strike. Moulton trying to go for her complete game and improving her record to 12-3. The Monarchs trying to improve their overall record to 12-5. This one is low, ball 4, as Acosta draws the walk. That'll bring up Charlie Holman, the first baseman. Oxnard simply trying to stay alive, 8-5-1. It's their record now under Coach Aaron Lawley. Holman, the lefty, reached base on a walk her last time at bat. Lays one down. Velasquez throws down to first, and she is out. Pickoff down to second base, she's safe. So bang bang plays at first with Holman. And again, Chris Gibbs has made 3 calls at first base, all benefiting the defensive play. So 1 out, but it does advance to runner Acosta to second. And that'll bring up Destiny Marill, the catcher.
And my last statement on ERA, Johanna Grauer at UCLA, we know how good she was in high school. Her best year so far, pitching college, 2.88. So not everybody's going to throw under 1 on the collegiate level.
This one's low, and there goes Acosta. She scoots down to third base with the slide. She's in scoring position with 1 out. They're down by 4.
Both the umpires have called a great game today, because it's somebody we don't even mention.
Yeah.
And when you don't mention an umpire, it's a great game for the people behind the plate and on the base path.
And this one's line up with it is Rivera. She goes to first, lets the run score. That's the second out. 6-3 is your score as Acosta comes home.
And you wonder why somebody will do that over a shortstop. You're up by a few runs. You want to take that certain out. The old adage is, how do we know it's a certain out? Well, it's the easier out. And so that's why we're going to call it the certain out. All I have to do is throw it to a first baseman. There's no tag involved. If I just beat the runner, I could get there.
And that one is gone. A solo home run by Giselle Roldan. She laid into that one. It is now 6-4 with 2 outs in the top of the 7th.
Boy, man, we may go back to that pitching argument yet before this game's over, huh? Corey Neyland, I can give up 4 or 5 runs. It's okay, I'll win.
Honestly, that ball came out of here so quickly. The delivery was on the way. I put my head down. I thought it was another one of those hawks coming down to swoop one of us. And that was just a ball going about 210 feet over straightaway center field.
Well, if I was a hawk coming down to swoop one of us, I'd grab the one that could feed my family for the next 3 years.
Yeah, but they couldn't lift me. I'm going for the lightweight.
Corey, the thing is, the way this ball flies out of this park, it really is interesting because we've had the wind blowing at us the majority of this game in right field. But it seems like it aids every outfield to get the ball out of the park.
Well, if you can get it up in that jet stream, and I'm not talking about, high up in the air. I'm just talking about maybe, how far are we up? About 6 feet, 6.5 feet? You get it up 7 feet, it's got a chance to carry a long way.
Yeah, I mean, the one that hit the scoreboard with a smack, but that one was hit deep to center field.
Yeah, for Roldan, that was her 5th home run of the season. That now gives her the team lead. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ground ball over to Acosta, over to Lau at first, and that will end the game. So 1 run, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, none left on base. So your final score, LA Valley Monarchs 6, Oxnard 4. Oxnard 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors. LA Valley 6 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. And don't forget, later, 7 o'clock tonight, East LA women's basketball versus PCC. That's Pasadena City College with Dan Gadino on SportsNetUSA.net. For Noah Alvarez, Ed Ford, Mark Pavlovich. Once again, this is Corey Neyland and LA Valley victorious, moving to 12-5 on the season. You've been listening to California Community College Softball on SportsNetUSA.net.